Right, we're live. Thank you so much for being here on the live stream. Thank you so much for watching the replay. If you're watching the replay. Now, if you're watching the replay, we are talking about Don't Pay Debt Collectors 2019. Watch this first. We've got a live Q&A after the beginning here. We've got 5 reasons not to pay these debt collectors in 2019. Potentially could work for you. And we're going to get into it as I say hello to some of the Subscribe Tribe members that come on board here, and they're saying hi. Garrett is always here. Gio Pauls, Miko, hello, how are you? I was wondering when you were going to go live, Miss Machiavelli. Oh, I see. Hey, hello, how are you? Good to see everyone. Melly Mel is here. Hello, nice to see you. Oh, also wanted to let you know that if for some reason I miss your chat message here, I got my email, so you guys can email me if necessary after the live stream. Excellent. All right. Hello, Amy. Hi, how are you? Yes, Brian, right. Subscribe Tribe going live. Absolutely. Excellent. Excellent. So as we start things off, we usually start off with a little bit of lecture style, why you don't want to be paying these debt collectors. You don't have to pay these debt collectors 2019. Some of the 5 reasons we're going over today. And then towards the middle here, we'll do a Q&A. So make sure you throw up your questions here in the chat, and I'll get to your questions. Prior to that, though, I want to let you know, William C., he emailed in, he said, you may use this as a testimonial if you wish. So William wrote this in, and I want to let you know. This was from his round 1. I got this February 5th, 2019. And this was, so just a few days ago. Brandon, I am truly humbled. I have tears in my eyes. I finally have all 3 updated credit reports back from the credit reporting agencies following my first round of letters. A total of 15 collections were deleted, 8 from Experian, 1 from Equifax, and 6 from TransUnion. Over $4,200 in medical collection debt removed. $4,200 in medical collection debt removed. Okay. This goes into what we're talking about today, right? What we're going to get into. Why I don't have to be paying these debt collectors. Jerome, don't be paying these debt collectors. Okay. Over $4,200 in medical collection debt removed. He says, I'm not a bad person. I have major health problems. And if you can't work, then, you can't pay. He says, Brandon, be very proud of the work you do. You help regular Americans fight against the system that is stacked against them from the start. My scores went from 520 to 610, roughly. Yes, 3 different scores. It was enough of a bump for Capital One to approve me for a Quicksilver unsecured credit card, so I can start building some good payment history. Now, if you're not familiar with the Quicksilver card, which I'm sure you are, he's going to get back 1.5% back on all his purchases, I think, cash back. So now he's building credit and getting money back in his pocket. And I'll tell you, that stuff adds up. I like the Quicksilver card. It's cool. Okay, so this is fantastic. $4,200 swing for his family. So he's not paying out $4,200. He can maintain $4,200. He can utilize that on down payment on a car, on vacation, on a business. All right, whatever it is. Now, William had a question because this was round 1. He had a question about round 2. He said, hey, do I change the wording for round 2, or should I just go ahead and send round 2? Now, this is the thing. Round 1 is working. 15 collection accounts were deleted. Okay. What do you do round 2? Send your round 2. It's designed to trap them up. No need to change anything. You're good to go, William. All right. So this is the potential that you have. You could potentially, if you were dealing with, a 500 score, get up in 600 in one round, get 15 collections off, get $4,200 of medical collections removed. All right. That is why we're talking about what we're talking about today. 5 reasons why you may not want to be paying these debt collectors in 2019. Don't be paying these debt collectors in 2019. Okay. So let's see, Marcus Davis, they still paying debt collectors. Where's Tyrone? Jerome. I think his name is Jerome. All right. Let's see here. Can't afford it. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm seeing stuff right now. Okay. We're going to get into these reasons. I'm trying to. A. Simmons. Okay. No worries, sir. I'm seeing some of these questions now. We're going to get into it, and we're going to get into your questions and answers here. And so one of the big reasons I don't like to be paying these debt collectors unverified, negative, erroneous collections is you're out cash. You're out of money. You're paying these things. Some people have emailed in, they say, hey, I've settled, or I'm thinking about paying, or I paid half. What do I do now? Okay, you can still dispute. You can still dispute. But if you're paying, and this is why we said don't pay, and this is why, William got $4,200 off of his credit reports. He would be out that $4,200. You would be out cash. It's like a big swing. It's hard to explain the microeconomics. Macro is big, micro is small, right? The little ticky-tack things that adjust, right? But let's just say his was $4,200. What if it was just $400? Okay, and that's $400 worth of groceries. That's $400 worth of gas. That changes what you're able to do, how you feel, your stress. It's like this little shift. And that's what made little shifts can make big differences in your life. Big differences. All right. So let me put my email here. So you don't want to be out your cash. You want to keep your cash, especially if they can't verify stuff. And a lot of times they have difficulty doing so. You just heard, if you're watching the replay or whatnot, we're watching this, you just heard that they weren't able to verify this erroneous collection medical stuff. Medical debts, $4,200, okay? So out cash. The other thing, and the big reason, this is reason number 2, but one of the big reasons here is credit score may not get a boost. Your credit score might not get a boost, okay? You might be paying these silly ass, pardon my French, these silly mother collectors, and your credit score might not go up, okay? You might be in a scenario where there's a gentleman like William, okay, who gets the negative stuff off, your credit score could come up. But simply paying might not help that scenario. So what do? You say, Brandon, okay, well, I can't, we dispute, we get this negative stuff off, but I'm trying to get the 700s, Brandon. I'm trying to get to 800s, which we have a great video on how to get to the 800s. What do? Well, we got another Mel emails in. This is February 6th. So this is even fresher. It says, hello, Brandon. I followed your plans and advice and got a self-lender account. And I talk about this all the time. Adding good positive history, okay? Adding good positive history. Not paying them, but them debt collectors. Adding good positive history, okay? Hello, Brandon. I followed your plans and advice. I got a self-lender account. The first payment posted today and increased my score by 50 points. First payment posted February 6th, increased score 50 points. One payment to a new account, to a fresh account, not to an old account, to a new account. And that's the idea. That's the difference, okay? So paying new stuff. First payment posted, increased my score 50 points. I feel like I'm on my way, LOL. 614 score from 556 in 1 month. Thank you, okay? So the idea here is to get this erroneous, nasty stuff off, get the good positive history on, start building with the unsecured Capital One Quicksilver cards, which I do like, and I think they can be a little bit more lenient. Look, get it tight, Jerome, get it tight. Look, I don't usually tell everybody out there, okay, but when you got the VIPs here, you got the subscribe tribe, okay, you've got the people that are coming in on the lives on the weekend, you'll need value. You want value, okay? It's like a value menu open here, okay? So the idea is Quicksilver actually can be a bit more lenient. Capital One can be a bit more lenient. I've seen that sometimes, you might not have the strongest scores. You might have a couple of maybe little derogatory ticky-tack things still on there. And Quicksilver, Venture, Capital One, they can be a little bit more lenient. I've seen it for other individuals. William was able to do it. Hey, your results may be a little bit different. You might have to play around and figure out what's right for you. But I've seen Capital One be a little bit more lenient. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, the harder cards to get, what I've seen more challenging, Barclay can be a bit more challenging sometimes when you have derogatories, okay? Barclay can be a bit more challenging to rebuild. So on the other, so we stick to the Capital Ones. Some of the Bank of Americas can be a little bit more lenient, okay? Barclay a little harder. So if you're looking for something to start, Maybe look at a little Capital One, see what you got going on. Okay, cool. Yes, Blackbeard Dave, self-lender is a huge bonus for credit building process, okay? So now you're thinking, okay, well now, Brandon, I got my cash. I ain't paying nobody, okay? I got my Capital One cards or whatnot. I'm rebuilding. I got my self-lender, right? So we talk about self-lender, but now we talk about Capital One could potentially be good for you, okay? And just be cautious about Capital One. I'm not a fan of their business side though, okay? But that's another topic for another day, okay? Number 3, here's the third reason. Even if somehow you paid, even if you made a mistake, you may still not be able to qualify for your home. And this is why I bring this up, because people will be told things from their mortgage lender, from their mortgage broker. They'll look at the credit report, right? And they're like, you need to pay all this stuff, okay? Now, first of all, probably can't pay all this stuff. That's why it's in that situation, right? But anyway, so they say, oh, you need to pay all this stuff. You need to pay this now, and then we can close on your home and blah, blah, blah. Okay. They don't know everything all the time. And you may still not be able to qualify for your home because they might not be looking at getting this stuff off that doesn't need to be on there. It's like loans, like student loans, okay? Your debt to income ratio could be jacked up because the student loans are goofy. So either you need to dispute them, get them off, or get on a special IDR program or something of that nature. So then they look, okay, cool, your credit is squared away, but your debt to income ratio is still good. So even paying may not allow you to get your home loan, get closed. You still may not be able to get the car that you want at the right price point, at the right interest rate, because your score didn't go up. So you paid these things, and now you can't get yacht cash, and now you can't even get the dream car because yacht cash, and you got the interest rate that's crazy high. So, and the other thing is business. Just because paying collections doesn't necessarily boost your score, right? You're thinking, oh, Brandon, I'm going to put all my credit in the business name. Sure. But there are some things like bank accounts that they still have to look at you. Insurances, they still have to look at you in your credit. Bonding, they still have to look at you in your credit. Some types of licenses, they still have to look at you in your credit. You may not be able to get the jobs still that you want or the clearance that you want. So simply paying isn't enough, right? So disputing these negative items, 609creditrepair.com. We can do this for you at theawesomelifegroup.com, okay? Richard, Capital One is very tight when trying to get an increase. Yes, you could get trade lines or AUs, but initially what I'm saying, Richard, is Capital One can be useful to rebuild. William was able to get the Quicksilver card. I've seen other friends and family get Quicksilvers and Ventures when other places can't give them unsecured credit. Yeah. So if you want to get the trade line, if you want to get the AU to boost your score, the thing is that is not going to be a necessarily long-term thing, right? So if you're on somebody's family's AU or somebody's friends or family, you've got to trust that they're going to be paying that on time all the time. And I have heard too many stories, right? Now, feel free, temporary, all good. AU is temporary to get you your own unsecured card. Now you're saying, okay, well, if they're uptight about the credit line increases, who aren't? Yeah, some of the bigger ones, Citi, Chase, that kind of stuff. But you have to double check and make sure that they're still going to be okay with the derogatories that are on there, right? So it's just not the score. It's just not the score. And that's why we're talking about why it's so important not to just be paying these, why it's so important not to let them linger. Get these erroneous negative stuff off, get this stuff out of your way, okay? All right, now, 4, another big reason, 4, this might not be yours. Surprisingly enough, it might not be yours. You might think, oh, well, I had this HBC card, or I had this Synchrony Bank card, or I had this card or that card, and this looks like it might be, and I don't know, right? You'd be surprised how often stuff gets mixed up. There are individuals out there who are saying, yeah, I think I had this card, but this is not the collection account that's mine. This eviction is not mine. This nasty, erroneous, whatever is not mine. And there's stuff reporting on my report that actually there's an individual out there with a similar name, or there's like a junior senior situation, or it's completely not mine, or there's ID theft. This has happened to people. You have seen people go through this before. You have seen people talk about this stuff, whereas like, I didn't even know. And the collector doesn't care either. They're just trying to make money. So you send your validation letters, you send your 609 dispute letters, and you dispute this stuff, okay? Get this negative stuff off because it might not be yours. And finally, this is a big one. Number 5, they may not be following the law. The collectors may not be following the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. They may not be following That's right, Fair Credit Reporting Act. They might not be following the laws. So these are all built for you. If they're not following the laws, you can call them out on there. If it's not verified, each unverified account with the bureaus could potentially be $1,000, okay, for every unverified account that they find in court, right? $1,000 per violation. That's for the credit bureaus. The collectors, it's similar as well, although if you kick it up, it could potentially be higher depending on damages. Because I got an email from someone who was like, I got this one collection on there, it's not mine, and it's stopping me from getting $50K, $100K in funding or making money in my business. That's a big deal. It's a big deal. All right. Now, those are some of the reasons. Those are 5 big reasons in 2019 not to be paying these collectors. We've gone over alternatives, what you can do. You can dispute this stuff. We've talked about people getting the results, disputing it. We've talked about what people are doing to build their credit, what you can do to build their credit. Hey, absolutely. Let's get into some of your questions, some of your answers. I know you got pressing information. All right. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Let's see what you got. All right. Yes, Michael, it's great. Michael Kremner, it's great to see you. AUs are great, but just got a 32-point increase on the FICO from my Jewelers Club card. Now, the Jewelers Club card, let me tell you something about the Jewelers Club card. It's a primary card. It's more lenient, right? It's a store card. It's a little bit more lenient. When you're subprime, you need some, you're in the 500s, you need some boost. You need a revolving credit card. It could give you $5K in credit and it reports to all 3 bureaus. Now, I've gone over with my team. Equifax sometimes a little slower to report the Jewelers Club card, just so you know. So it might take a little bit longer, but it does report to all 3. We have confirmed that. We have talked to their customer service. We understand that, okay? Let's see here. So I'm going back up. Make sure. Good afternoon, Brandon. Let's all have high scores day. A high score day today. Great. Let's see. Great. All right. Mr. Garrison. Brandon, I've been sending in these disputes to the collection agencies. They're ignoring me. All right. What do I do? What should I do? First of all, we have a non-response collection letter. Secondly, we have a collector fails to validate letter that you can send directly into the credit bureaus, okay? Next, not only do you dispute with the bureaus, but you file your complaints with the Cfpb, FTC, Better Business Bureau, AG in your state, okay? They continue to ignore you. You push on them because it's your right under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, Fair Credit Reporting Act, for them to respond within 30 days, okay? Oh my God, the credit bureaus be playing games, okay? I disputed one account. They applied the dispute to the wrong account, right? Something difficult to deal with. Okay. So a couple things you can do. If you see this now, it's in dispute, you can remove that dispute. Not hard. You can either do it with a letter or a call. A letter is going to be better. It's going to be easier. You can remove that dispute, okay? If for some reason you have something nice, it's good, you need it back on there, it's simple. It's a call to that creditor, or you just make a purchase with that card and all the history usually comes back. Not hard, okay? Let's see. Wow. Anthony, nice. This year, I started this year in 2019 or 2018. This year, I started working on my credit and I started at 490 and I was able to remove some accounts. And with my Jewelers Club trade line, I was able to boost my score to 720. This year, I was, dang, you did that? No, this is 2018, right? Maybe within a year. I don't know. That's great, though. This year, I started working on credit, and I started at 409. I was able to get some accounts deleted. And with my Jewelers Club trade line, I was able to boost my score to 720. This is amazing. That's fantastic. 490. That's That's pretty low, man. That was pretty low score. 720, amazing. Excellent credit. People are going to look at that. Bank, lenders, bank card, whatever. They're going to look at that. They're going to say, this individual knows how to manage their credit. This person knows basically the game. They're okay. We can lend to them. Okay. All right. Deacon. Email me. Hope the typing is not too loud. Okay. All right. Oops. Does the service help navigate how to handle each account? Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So each account is, I tell you, I still have talked to clients, customers, talk to each individual about their individual goals. I look over reports. Each client's different. Your credit report is a little bit like your fingerprint. It's unique to you. So each account needs to be handled slightly more customized, so to speak. So the customization is important to you. Yeah. The emails, when you email me and you have questions, you can customize things. Hey, you know what? Maybe try this first, try that first, try this next, try that last. Okay. Oh, somebody else needs to go after the inquiries first. Oh, somebody else needs to put on a good primary trade line. Oh, somebody else needs to go after the collection first. Oh, you just need to take care of the charge-offs. Okay. Oh, you're trying to get your home and they pull from Experian. You got to make sure your Experian's cleaned up. So blah, blah, blah. Right. So things are customized for you. Yes. Help you make the choices. Yes. They help guide you, give you the information that you need. Settling won't. Oh, this is great. So settling your debt won't leave positive mark paid off. See, this is the question that people get confused about. Okay. The collector, this is what happens. Okay. So this is what we're talking about, collector. And this is a good question. So asking, wouldn't settling leave a positive mark? Wouldn't it be positive? Wouldn't it say it's paid off? I mean, if you pay this collector, wouldn't it say it's paid off and it's positive? Okay. So collectors will somewhat trap you up and trick you with this, okay? So they'll say, you know, maybe you'll call and they'll say, hey, you know, you take this off of pay, and they'll be like, well, we can, you know, update with reports and let's show the reporting that it's all paid and it's going to be good now and it's going to be closed out and positive and all this good stuff. You're going to be, you just need to pay, okay? Right? They're not going to tell you, no, it's not going to be positive. It's still going to remain a collection on your credit reports and it's going to look negative. A collection never becomes, and the collection never becomes positive. Now it comes off, right? So if you wait all those years, they supposedly automatically come off. However, we know to dispute it, we can get this negative, nasty, erroneous stuff off sooner. So Miss Ann J, you're asking, hey, wouldn't it be positive? It's not considered positive. It's still considered a collection. Same thing with a charge-off. A charge-off, let's say hypothetically you paid a charge-off, right? Which we were not doing, right? But you did. It's still going to sit there as a charge-off. It's a nasty stuff. You want to get this nasty stuff off of there, okay? Yes, just lucky, yes. If the original creditor has your account as a charge-off, but now a third-party collector says I owe them the same, can I fight that? Yes. Okay, now, the original creditor should not be saying that you owe anything if the collector is saying you owe something, right? So there should not be two balances. There should not be two people coming after you. That's a double enrichment. Okay, so that shouldn't happen. The original creditor has sold it, has already been paid for it, or has written off some deduction, or it's got an insurance payment or something. The original creditor, look, the original creditor doesn't really lose out. Okay, this is why these banks post all these great earnings and all this money, and they want to lend money because it's money, it's automatic money. It's wild what they do. So they've already been enriched. They can't then sell it, you know, to a collector and say, oh, we want you to pay us as well. And that the collector says, oh, well, we want you to pay us. Yeah. So that's probably not what's happening. But now the collector's saying, hey, we want that money. Yes, you can dispute this negative item. You can ask to see some type of original contract, right? Original application for credit, an original instrument of indebtedness, Something that can prove that it's yours, that you sign a signature, and that a third party has the right to collect from the original agreement, inception agreement of your, I'm guessing, credit card, right? Because it's charge-off. That proves the chain of custody that they have and that they're able to collect. They're able to collect in your state, okay? Some need licenses in your state to be able to collect, and that they're able to do so legally. All of this has to happen. But now they don't provide any of that, right? Yeah, it's not like they mailed you something. It's not like the collector mailed you something. They open it and say, hey, here's your original inception agreement, your application of credit that you signed this contract for this credit card on such and such a date. Here are the days in which you were distributed credits from, this credit card where you utilized it. This is where you paid. This is this signed signatures of the receipts. And this is what it was charged off for. This is what we purchased it for. This is the contract that we purchased it for. This is the thing that says that we have the right to collect from third party that you signed, right? Here you go. This is all the information. This is what we would like to settle for. None of that happens, is it? None of that happens. None of that happens. All that happens is they send you a bill. That could be anybody. You could type it up. You could type up a bill right now. And we're all on our computers, and we can just type up an invoice, email it to somebody, right? And say, hey, you owe this. And then be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to throw this on a credit or whatever. I have information that I don't know how you got this information, but it got information. You can put this on a credit. That is very similar. That's why these laws exist, because anyone could just report this stuff. Anyone. And if they can't substantiate it, they're like, well, how are you able to keep this on? How are you able to report this? It doesn't make any sense. So you can fight. You can send your collection validation letters in, okay? We could fight on your behalf. It's very important that you fight, because a lot of people who fight are able to get their scores taken care of and boosted. They're able to change their lives, change their families' lives. I don't know how long you've been on the live stream, but you've probably heard the testimonials, the reviews that I've read, the other videos. Fight, okay? So Yvette, this is great. I did a collection dispute that was quote unquote verified. But then when I disputed the same collection with the credit bureaus, it was deleted, right? This is why we do the validation letters and we send our dispute letters into the bureaus. Yvette saying, collection deleted, right? This is why you want to fight. Like Just Lucky was asking, can I fight? Do I fight? Do I want to go through this process? Yes. Yes. You can do this. You can get results. The potential is there for you as well. Now, when I started seeing collections come off, I started to understand that it was possible and that it changed my mentality. So Yvette now has the ability to say, hey, this can come off. This can happen. Maybe this next thing can happen. Maybe I can get my business going, right? Yes, let me see here. Make sure you got my email. Kenneth. Sandy Baby, Brandon, the Awesome Life team is the real deal. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All righty. Hey, if you're watching this video, if you're watching the replay, please hit that subscribe button and the bell for notifications, all right? If you're watching it now, please hit the subscribe button, that bell for notifications. I like to go live on the weekends, but I'm thinking of starting to doing a few more lives, okay? Thinking about doing a few more things. Not everybody's got a Saturday afternoon to be playing around with these bureaus, okay? Some people need a weekday. Some people need another time, afternoon, evening, whatever. So make sure we hit the subscribe button, the bell for notifications, and we've got another Ricardo. Thank you very much for the super chat. I'm going to look for your question. It didn't pop up right away in the chat. Let's see here. Let's see. I see it down here. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yes. And if this video is helping you out, please give a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Helping me keep doing what I'm doing. Thank you for all the subscribe tribe members coming back and talking to each other here and helping one another out. I really appreciate you. All right. Helps my husband remove bankruptcy after using your letters. Thank you. Miss Walker, thank you very much. Helped my husband remove bankruptcy after using your letters. I appreciate it. Caitlin, oh, okay. Miss Ann J. Katie Ann, okay. Removed if they're trying to put stuff back on, we have a special letter, reinsertion letter, okay? They've got to provide to you within 5 days how and why they're able to reinsert this information from the credit bureaus. If they do not, they're in violation of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. They need to remove said stuff because it's already been deleted. Also, if you have the deletion and if you have proved that it's been deleted, then you can send that information in as well, okay? This is usually pretty rare, but if needed, you've got it, okay? Here we go. I'll read this to you real quick. All right, so it's under section 611, okay? Procedure in a case of disputed accuracy. All right, it's very clear that they have to have within 5 business days after the reinsertion, if authorized by the consumer for that purpose by any other means available to the agency. Additional information as part of or in addition to the notice under this Section 611, 15 USC 1681, okay? Consumer reporting agencies shall provide to a consumer in writing no later than 5 business days after reinsertion, a statement that the dispute information has been quote unquote reinserted, business names, address, notice to consumer. I have not received any such notifications. It goes on and on, okay? This is a serious violation of the Fair Credit Reporting Act and I deserve the right to pursue further action, okay? Your agency may avoid such action, court stuff, right? Legal stuff, by immediately deleting this listing from my credit report. And you have the proof, all right? So you're good to go. Keep your card. Never close an account, Patrick. That's right. Okay. They said I could apply for a double cash back Citi card. They'll tell you all sorts of things, okay? People, here's the thing. You want to know your own scores. You want to know the threshold for getting your specific stuff, okay? Your cards, your car, your home, you want to know beforehand. You don't want to trust somebody trying to sell you their credit card or their home loan or whatever, because they'll say, hey, yeah, you know, you could probably get this. You could probably have that. You could get this. And I was seeing people on like Credit Karma and stuff looking at things and saying, oh, you probably can get this card. They apply for it. They get the hard inquiry. They don't get the card. Okay. It's not a great situation. And they're kind of preying on people's hopes and dreams, right? You can actually call. I would actually call that card company. I've called Bank of America. I've called Barclays, Citi, Chase. I've called them all. I've asked them questions. They will do their best. They want to get you qualified for their cards. They will do their best. They don't always know either, because sometimes you're talking to individuals overseas or whatnot. But a lot of times they do. They'll help you and they will get you in that process. They also have something called a reconsideration line. Okay. So for some reason, if it isn't approved right away, I've had to do it. I had a lot of inquiries for a period of time when I was doing all the travel miles and getting on these cards with traveling. You might have to call, explain, hey, you know, such and such is going on. This is why I have these inquiries. I went to the card dealership, blah, blah, blah. And you could still get approved. The reconsideration line is really, really cool. It's actually pretty easy. A lot of times when I would call, they wouldn't even really ask me anything. I would just call and say, hey, I'm calling, seeing what's going on with my application. They say, hey, no, you're approved. Great. It's like the computer didn't want to automatically approve it. Once the human looks over and says, oh, I see what's going on, it's fine. Okay. All right. Carlos, thank you very much for the super chat. Let me see if you have a question. Charge off report and collector listed double dip. That's right. Totally bad. You dispute them both. And I get questions about that too. People say, hey, do I put the original creditor? Do I put the collector? What do I do? You want to put both. You want to put both, even if they have similar account numbers. They should have different account numbers. And people have asked too, hey, you know, what's going on with my account numbers? I can't see the whole account number. You're going to get partial account numbers. So don't sweat it. If you're watching this right now, you're thinking, hey, man, you know, everything's looking good. I'm ready to go. But these account numbers, what's going on? Don't I need the full account number? It's the partial account numbers, usually the last 4 are asterisked out, or you get little dots or something like that. You can utilize exactly what they are putting in to the reports. And that's how they identify them, okay? What about cable bills? Brandon, come on now. You can dispute a cable bill. NCTUE is the cable communications company. And I know I've gone over it before, but since you have that question, I will shoot that over to you. You can take a look and see Bobby Woodruff. Bobby All right. National Consumer Telecom and Utilities Exchange. All right. We're talking about the phone, the cable, the utilities, the light bill. All right. Cut your lights on, right? The power, that kind of stuff. The exchange is utilized by basically members that own these companies, these waterwork companies, power companies, telecommunication companies. They exchange information. It's actually part of their charter, this NCTUE on there. What it says is they must exchange information to be a part of this reporting agency. So to be a part, they can't just use the information. So someone can't just go into, and I'm talking about businesses, you can't just, a business can't just go in there and scan information and utilize it and that kind of stuff. NCTUE actually needs them to send in information. Okay, they have to. So that's kind of silly and that's kind of scary that they're able to just send information in and transfer information between each other, and that it's a requirement. These bureaus are crazy, all right? And this is why we freeze some of the smaller bureaus. That's why we know, hey, when people are talking, when they're transferring information, we're going to freeze up these bureaus, freeze out the LexisNexis, the SageStreams, the CoreLogics, ARS, all right? LCI, okay? Microbill, these types of things that you can do, all right? 609creditrepair.com, get that Beyond Committed package. It's got everything you need, or we can do it for you at theawesomelifegroup.com, all right? Brian says, how to remove a 7-year close after statutes of limitations account with a balance. Okay, Brian, you can dispute that sucker. And what you can do is you can put on your dispute letter, okay, this is the reason. A lot of times you get reasons, and one of the reasons you can put outside statutes of federal statutes limitation, 7 years, too old, that's what you can put, okay? You can put that on there. If they want to verify it and they don't want to do their job, hey, man, the courts are open to you. You know it's too old. No one is going to fight you on that. You go, the chances are, this is what I've heard from individuals who go, because obviously small claims typically doesn't have representation, but you can consult with an attorney before you go in. And we're not lawyers, so we don't do that. But from what I've heard is a lot of times they just want to delete it. They don't even want to show up to court. They just say, hey, listen, we'll delete it. We'll take it off. We don't want to deal with it. You're not trying to pay. We'll just move on, okay? So 7 years, dispute, too old, outside statutes of limitation, FCRA violation, okay? EC. Why debt collectors try and dodge questions on their validation letters? Of course, I have to laugh at these collectors because they just send, like he says, they just send statements as rebuttal tactics because they have nothing. Like I said before, you know, if they just came out and said, hey, this is all the information that's true blue to the FCRA, the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, this is easy, be a done deal, but it's not. That's why you're able to dispute. That's why you're able to get this negative stuff off. Yeah. But I think it's funny, right? And it says a lot to that industry, I suppose, that they don't have anything besides a statement that could be drafted up by anyone, that's what they're sending, that our collection validation letters, here's the thing too, our collection validation asks for a lot of stuff that they're supposed to provide. And they're not able to do so. They want to just dodge. They want to do this, that, and the third and say, oh, well, you know, you owe or you paid or whatever. Let me tell you what some of the stuff that our validation letters ask for and that you know and that you can utilize, okay? Provide a verification copy of original contracts, okay? Verification or copy of judgment if applicable, right? If you've got that, show me. Explain how you calculate what I owe. Identify the original creditor. Prove the statute of limitation has not expired on this account. Show me your license to collect in my state. Provide me copies of any papers that I show I agreed to pay what you say I owe. Okay, all of this stuff. In order to provide me with any copies of papers that show I agreed to pay what you say I owe. Anything that shows an agreement, but no, just a statement. That's not an agreement that proves that I'm going to pay anything, right? original contract of inception that says, hey, I agree to pay this bank card back, potentially pay it back to a third party if necessary. I have seen stuff that'll have third-party clauses in them. Third-party clauses. Hey, you know, if you don't take care of this, we're going to send it over here. You're going to have to pay a third party. You're going to have to deal with them, that kind of stuff. Okay, so none of that stuff. It's very specific what they ask. You're right. They try and dodge, duck, dart, and then dodge again, all right, and get out of, because they don't have anything, all right? You can get this stuff. We can do this for you. We want you to have success. This is your time. I'm telling you right now, this is your time. And I'm glad to be a part of your time. This is what you can do for yourself, your family. People are getting great results. You can be next, okay? Hey, Brennan, can you get repos off credit? Jonathan Houston, thank you so much. All right. Oh, man, it's shoot, got some spam stuff. Oh, well. So, yeah, you can. And it's happened. We've seen it. You've seen it. Repossessions, foreclosures, judgments, charge-offs, okay? You can do it. We can do it for you. There's specific letters and information that they have to send out. They have to tell you they were going to repossess it. It's much like an eviction. It's very specific legal, very specific legally, okay? Yeah, maybe it's a charge-off, maybe it's a collection, but to be listed as a repossession or an eviction, it must go through very specific things. You have to be notified you're going to be repoed. It's supposed to be repossessed, and then if they sell it, which they usually do, I don't know why they wouldn't, they're supposed to send you the deficiency notice. They're also supposed to send you something saying that you can attend the auction if you want to buy it back. They're supposed to send you all this stuff certified, and those documentation, like we talked about, like with the original inception, all this contract, all this stuff, they're supposed to keep all that. Okay, so they're supposed to be able to show you that if you request that. Say this is the chain of custody that created a repossession, a legal repossession situation. Okay. Wow. Ricardo, hey, thank you for the super chat. Hey, Brandon, I got a law firm coming after me for an old private student loan I co-signed back in 2007. So this wasn't even your loan. This is you co-signed for somebody else. They placed a judgment on it in 2014. So I'm guessing you missed that court date, Ricardo. Judgment, they usually a court order, and you have to. 12 years ago. Okay. Excellent. Okay. First of all, you don't want them to continue this process, right? This is great. This is what I would say. Now, of course, you have the judgment, you have a court order, so you might need to vacate this. And of course, talk to your lawyer, talk to your legal team, talk to the courts. Okay, I can't give you legal advice, but the idea could be to vacate the judgment and file a motion, okay? You could vacate the judgment, and this is where you need to find this signature, okay? So you're saying, hey, I co-signed on a private student loan, okay? Ricardo, I don't know that. I've never seen that. I don't know that, right? So as a judge, I need proof. If I was a judge, right? Hypothetically, if I was a judge, I need proof. The courts need proofs. This law firm needs proof. To collect, they need proof. Otherwise, anyone could just say, hey, you owe, and we'll take you to court, and if you don't show up, we win. Okay, it's nonsense. So you want to find, petition if this law firm is coming to you, send them a letter looking to exercise your equity, right? Okay, which is different now. You're simply sending them a letter stating looking for this signature, a master promissory note, or the signed contract is a private note, so it might have been a bank that they did a contract for. It's a promissory note, but it might not be considered a master promissory note like they do with the disbursements of student loans backed by federal government. It's a little different, but it's private. So you can ask to see a contract. See this contract. See the proof. Okay, it's old. He said it's 12 years ago. Okay. Send that. Okay. Now, the other thing is working with the court or lawyer to vacate any judgment, because you don't want this judgment sticking around. And what you can do is you can vacate it potentially on the grounds of not properly validated, no original instrument of indebtedness, no contract. You can say there's no paperwork. Hey, look, there's no paperwork saying I owe anything. Okay, because I don't know that. They don't know that. Nobody knows that. Yeah. So this vacate, appeal, motion to dismiss, These types of things. Hey, if they can't provide something now, they might get something called a continuance. So the collector of another collection, okay, they sued this individual. They knew this stuff. Our subscribe tribe member knew stuff here, okay? They go into court. They say, hey, look, I need original instrument indebtedness. I need this, that, and the third. I need something that says I prove all the stuff that we went through the letter that I just read. Well, of course, the collector couldn't provide it, so they got a continuance. It was set in January. They said, hey, they're coming back in March trying to say that they're going to have this stuff, okay? This collector hasn't provided anything. They're continuing their dispute process with the collector. They still haven't provided any contracts. Similar scenario with your student loan, okay? Now, here's the thing. You co-signed. So you want to get out of that scenario, right? You're not worried about the co-signer. Yeah, that's their thing. They got to deal with that. So what might happen, Ricardo Roper, you have 30 days to respond. They said, okay, you can send a validation letter. You can send a letter to ask for an original instrument of indebtedness, looking for a promissory note. You can look for all that. The other thing is, though, it is a court situation where you have a judgment. So it would be probably a great idea to vacate that so you can get that nasty thing out of the way. You can dispute the judgment on your reports as well. And when they can't provide you any said instrument of indebtedness, you potentially get your you were not even off of it because they don't have the signed contract, but you'd be off of the loan. And so they will no longer pursue you. Yeah. Now go after whoever else is supposed to be responsible for that. All right. So those are some things that you can utilize. If you need, hey, shoot me an email if you need. All right. And thank you very much for the super chat. Excellent. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Thanks for the thumbs up. All right, let's see. That's interesting. A Riggs. I have two collections, one with company, one with company for $0 and one with the company for, and with the amount of, will the company charge the amount from $0 to $700? Do I dispute both? Will the company charge? So it's one company with two accounts. I see what you're saying. Okay. Zero collection. I don't understand why they even have that on your report. That's silly, right? Okay. Yeah, you definitely can dispute both. I don't know why the one with $0 is on there. And that's the stupid, inaccurate nonsense that goes on. And it shouldn't be there. It really shouldn't be there. So I apologize that would be happening to you, this double reporting. And you can put double reporting as one of your reasons, okay? Jay, what happens if I respond after 30 days? Jay, I love it. I love it. I have to laugh at these collectors. They play these games, these head games with us. You're fine. Look, I would get dunning letters. I would get letters in the mail. I would get all sorts of stuff, all sorts of nonsense. I didn't do anything for years. And I still sent in validation letters to them after the fact. I disputed after the fact. They'll say, hey, if you don't send us something in 30 days, we're going to assume this debt is yours. Why would they even do that? Why wouldn't they just prove that the debt is yours? Why do they have to assume anything? So after 30 days, you still have rights on the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. They can't circumvent your rights under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. They can't circumvent your rights under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. They still have to do their due diligence and get these, get fired up, get these negative erroneous collections either properly validated or off your reports, properly verified or off your reports. They'll say 30 days to mess with you, to scare you, to frighten you, to say, hey, if you don't get back to us, we're going to assume it's yours, okay? So send your disputes, okay? The judgment was not placed, Ricardo, I don't know. The judgment was not placed. So there's no judgment on your reports? Okay, cool. Good, good. That's excellent. Jay, thank you. I'm about to resend today on 33rd day. Whew. Yeah, you're cool. Don't worry about it. They try and play games. They're trying to scare you. They do the scare tactics. Don't fall for them scare tactics, okay? Jerome, I'm watching you. You put that checkbook down. Don't be falling for these scare tactics, Jerome. Jerome, God. Paying these collectors, man. You ain't paying nobody, Jerome. All right. night, Dave. Sorry, I apologize if, here's the thing. Sometimes the chat can be a little funny, so I apologize if I miss any of your questions. Please feel free to email me, okay? Let's see. Let's see. Timeshare company divided my total balance. Oof, put 6 negatives. Report as opposed to 1 total. What the hell? Yeah, sorry about that. You know what? I've seen that with student loans too. Yeah, they're messing with you. So double reporting, you can dispute the entire thing. Timeshares are nasty businesses. Some people out there that can sometimes get your names off of timeshares. I'm gonna start looking at timeshares. I don't like these timeshares, nasty stuff. Can. You're trying to open on your phone? Okay, let me see here. Can too. You can email me. Sometimes you need. Okay. Quincy. Disputed the collection agency didn't receive anything with my signature on it. Just a name, emergency info. Yeah, nonsense. Keep up the process. You can file your complaints. A lot of people have asked me recently, hey, how do I file complaints with the CFPB? Do I send them a letter? How do I do this? It's all online. It's a simple portal. It's easy. I've seen people get results doing that, repossessions, collections. It is a process unto itself. It takes an investigation. It takes a little bit of time, but it can be worth it. It can help you. I'm telling you right now, okay? Okay, Carlos. Okay, scroll up because he gave me Let's see. Looking for the super chat. Let me get to this. All right, Carlos. Can you ask your question again, Carlos? Nice. Antonell. Brandon is the GOAT. My credit score was 420 in the beginning of December, end of November. Sent the letters off. My FICO is now 562. That's pretty good. Couple months, 562. You're on your way. 420. Shoot, you got 100 and, oh my God, like 142 points. 142 point boost. That's what I'm talking about. Excellent, excellent. Carlos, you're gonna have to ask your question again, brother. Sometimes this chat is funny. Wow, a tribe called Cruz. Hi, I just sent my first round of validation verification for my husband. We got 4 items deleted by Equifax. Experian sent a letter stating everything was quote unquote verified, and TransUnion sent a letter saying address was not updated. So they were sending that for a second time since the first. Okay. Stall tactics, scare tactics. Look, you've gotten some great deletions. Okay. 4 items deleted your first round. That's great. Okay. Deleted for Equifax. Experian sent a letter saying everything was quote unquote verified. You can send your second round. Ask them how it was verified. Now, TransUnion stall tactic. Hey, we didn't know what your address. We couldn't verify this, that, and the third. Right. Make sure that you send in something to update your address if you have a new updated address, or if they just didn't see your address, they're playing games. Oh, well, your ID, we're not sure. You have a utility bill, something that has your current address on it if they're messing with you, okay? We have the letter to update your personal profile information, your address, your name, all this stuff. You can make sure it's all good to go. Oh, there's Carlos. Okay, yeah. I got you, Carlos. Okay. Carlos, yeah. And if the collector doesn't get back to me in 15 days, then I'm going to assume it's not mine, and you need to delete it from my collection reports. Actually, that's part of the process. One of the things that it says in there is that they need to delete it if they can't remove it within that time frame, or if they don't respond. The non-response letter says, hey, you didn't respond in the right time frame. You need to delete this. Yeah. All right. And Twisted Trucker. Need my email. I'm going to give you my email address. Excellent. All right. Roger, I like this question a lot. I think it can be confusing because they try to confuse us on purpose. Okay. I have 2 collection accounts with the same company under 2 different balances. Okay. Similar to the other question about the 0 balance and 700 balance. Do I send 2 validation letters or bundle under 1 validation letter with both account numbers? You can bundle under 1 validation letter, both account numbers. You can say this company, this number, this account, this number, this account. Okay. I've done it. I've seen success with that. You can do it the other way too. It's fine. It's not wrong. It's going to save you, some money on postage, certified mail, that kind of stuff. It's easier because it's right there. You know that they got it on the same day at the same time. So 30 days, boom. But if you want to send them separately, you can. I guess the only thing separately is that you would have to then maintain which one at which time was there and the 30 days process and all that stuff. So it's probably best to send all at once. Okay. iGadget screen. I caught you live. Nice. Keep it tight. Keep it tight. Don't be paying, Jerome. Thank you very much, iGadget. See you a lot. You've been a great, everybody's great. Everybody's great. I really appreciate it. Let's see. There we go. Oh, there we go. Wow. 7 times. That's what Carlos was asking about. Okay. 26-year-old old student loan, but the school closed 11 months after finishing. Your school closed in a period of time that was fat. Here, I'm going to pull this up for you. There's a special school closed forgiveness, discharge. Got it right here. Forgiveness cancellation. Bam. Gotcha. All right. Man, 26. It's too long, man. It's too long. Here we go. And then email me if you need help with that as well. School closure. There we go. Does collector hire third parties to collect? The collector usually is a third party collector. The creditor, I think maybe you meant creditor. Okay. Deacon Jones, illegal repo deleted by collection company. The original creditor still has it on the report. Do they have to delete it as well? Well, they should be deleting it, but you want to dispute it. You want to show that it was deleted by the collector. You want to tell them exactly what you're telling me. This illegal repossession. Let them know they need to be removing this. They don't have anything to substantiate anymore. You can use a 623 method letter. You can, well, these guys are playing games. It really sickens me to see that individual. I went through it too. It'll come off the collector. They can't substantiate. They know the creditor is supposed to have sent everything over so they could substantiate, but they couldn't. So the creditor doesn't do anything, nothing. And the collector doesn't reach out and tell them, hey, you need to take this. They don't care, right? So the 623 method letter helps you with that. It asks for how are they substantiating it? How are the original creditor putting it on there? If they say, hey, something like, oh, well, the collector has it now. We don't have any of that, but we can keep it on there. Be like, well, guess what? The collector doesn't have any of that. So if they don't have it, you don't have it. I don't think I'm gonna have to file some complaints. I think we're gonna have to take you to follow law, maybe in court, huh? You're like, oh, hey, let's not get too upset. Let's not get too crazy. We'll just push the little button. It's gone, it's deleted, right? That's great. Repossession is great. You got everything, okay? All right, let's see here. How do you get hard inquiries removed before? Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely. Because 2 years, typically, their hard inquiry stays. Okay, cool. So you can dispute it. It says, how do you get rid of hard inquiries before 2 years is up when you didn't give them permission to run your credit? It's very simple. They have to have permissible purpose. They have to have the proof that you gave them you gave them the right to run your credit, especially a bunch of times. I bet you're talking about this, you know, car dealership that ran you a bunch 15 million times and they're not supposed to be doing what they're supposed to be doing. You can send that, okay? We have specific letter for the inquiries. We have a follow-up letter for the inquiries. We have a non-response inquiry letter. We need permissible purpose under section 604. You've got to be able to substantiate it. You send in your letters to the bureaus and to the people who put the inquiries on there, okay? That way they know you mean business and they need to take it off on their end, okay? This is great. Have a good time, guys. A great time. Saturday afternoon / morning, I don't know, depending where you are. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. Now, here's the thing. We're going to do some more live streams. We got to do some more. Not everybody, you know, is available on a Saturday. We'll get some different individuals on the subscribe tribe. Hit the bell for notifications. Hit the subscribe button, okay? Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to let you go and enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy your good credit, okay? I got my information here. You can email me, okay? Excellent. You can do this for yourself, 609creditrepair.com. We can do the work for you at theawesomelifegroup.com. I appreciate it. Okay, cool. Last one. So Izzy saying, okay, so Izzy, your items were deleted and now a new collector is claiming the adverse action, calling you, trying to put the collection on your report. But relax, they haven't put it on your report, right, Izzy? Okay. So no one has put it on your report. They're just harassing you, scaring you like they are. They have to be able to, quote unquote, use what we did in the reinsertion letter. If you didn't watch it, make sure you watch the replay. The reinsertion letter, you're okay, Izzy. Relax. You have the deletion. And if for some reason you need to send it in, we got the letters for you, okay? 609creditrepair.com. You've got my email, Izzy. All's well. Thank you so much for everything. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. I want you to enjoy your weekend. And until I see you in person, I will see you on the other side. Take care.